Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Take Me To podcast. I'm joined by my good friend Josh and Connor. How are you, Josh?
All right, mate. You okay?
All good,
Doing
yeah?
all right? Yeah.
So I think best place to start is to,
At the beginning,
yeah,
and then when we get to the end, we'll stop.
we just wanted to kind of just pay tribute to films, and that's what the podcast is going to be. We're going to start off today, I think, by taking you to Haddonfield.
Haddonfield,
Yeah.
Illinois. So, what's your relationship with Halloween? How did you get into it? Like, when was the first time you watched it?
Mate, I was, I believe, 7 years old. Way, way too young to be watching any kind of horror film, but
See, mate.
I can see it in my head still. I remember walking in to my living room and my brother and his three friends were watching it, just on like they were on like a sleepover. My brother's like 7 years older, so yeah, he was like the right age to watch Halloween. So,
Yeah.
I just remember yeah, watching it and just been like just amazed by it. And like even like the soundtrack, even their age, just like seeing how it was filmed, like where they put the camera and stuff. It was just it definitely stayed with me, and that's I became a massive fan of the franchise after
Mm.
that. What about yourself? What was your like first experience with Michael Myers?
A similar deal. I went through this stint when I was younger where me folks would just put me in the conservatory and make me watch horror movies. And I came out great. Uh, But it was loads of movies. It was like um, Alien, The Thing, another Carpenter movie. Halloween, obviously, Exorcist. Just all the hits really.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them were being shown on TV at the time. It was going back like decades back. It was like on ITV and stuff like that. And it was a good excuse to get into it at that age. I think I was quite young as well. I don't think I was 7, but I was. It was a.
You were a normal age.
Yeah. I was 22. No, yeah, no, I think it was around that age, at like 10, something like that.
Mm.
Um, but it definitely affected me, Halloween especially. It was just so well done and so tense and so just eerie and
Yeah.
captivating because it is like I watched it last night and it just for it to be fresh for the podcast and it is just so it's such a simple movie but it's so well done and it really sticks with you.
How's it aged? What's like your recent feelings
Um,
of it now?
well, it's been a yearly tradition to watch it on Halloween night.
Hmm.
Um, my folks love the 2018 one as well. They usually stick that one as on as well, but me myself, I watch the original every year without fail. I would have watched it on. I probably won't watch it on Halloween again, but for the purposes of the podcast, I watched it last night, obviously, and it holds up really well. It
Hmm.
still scared me a bit because I
Yeah.
watched it on my own in the dark, quite loud, and it still hits. Like I was still looking behind my shoulder.
Yeah, yeah,
And when it's quite
yeah,
dark,
yeah.
you think, is Michael in the corner there?
Exactly,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and we'll get into, how effective it is with paranoia there. But yeah, it's still really effective. Obviously, the scares aren't as, visceral as they were when I was a kid. I was like,
And right now you're like,
yeah, it's
oh
like,
no.
bloody hell. um, so yeah, no, it's still really good, still really
Yeah.
effective, and there's a reason why they just keep on milking that cow, trying to churn that butter,
I think there's always one of an audience for Halloween.
Yeah,
Even like the last film, the franchise being like Halloween Ends. I mean, that was like a joke, wasn't it? When it came out, like, everyone was like,
sure.
"This franchise is never going to end." I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to outlive me and you, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
The pioneer of slasher movies. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
prior to that, we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but this was like the gold standard and the one that really
I think
rocketed the genre, I think.
I think what all they talk about. It's like, yeah, what makes Halloween so successful? I think you brought it up perfectly there. I mean, it was released in an era where they started taking, you know, the monsters out of like the Gothic castles and stuff. Like you had your Frankenstein, Hammer horror era. For me, I think it started with Psycho, which it all ties together because
Oh yeah.
John Carpenter, who directed the film, Deborah Hill, who wrote the film as well, they were massive fans of Psycho, Vertigo, The Birds growing up. Um, it's quite, documentary I watched on Halloween. It was they had such a fascinating insight into how it was all created. But they actually said, like we wanted to bring horror into like the everyday, just like what's behind the hedge
Mm,
outside. It's just
yeah.
and I think that's most of Halloween's filmed in broad daylight. I think that's what makes it absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's only the very beginning scenes and then the final act that are
Yeah.
all in darkness, and that's where it really shines for me.
Hmm.
But the the most haunting aspects of it is just seeing Mike right at the back, somewhere like far off in the distance, out the window somewhere, and you're like, what is that? Or like he's just behind the hedge, and you're like, what?
I think
That's creepy, man.
I think in various interviews, John Carpenter said he's deliberately filmed it like that. I mean, if you notice, you watching it last night, like most of the scenes, there's like we have, it's like rule of thirds in filmmaking. We have like like the camera's on someone, and then we have all this open space beside them. And according to Carpenter, that was like deliberate neat scene because you know he wanted us as an audience to think, is that Michael? Is he there? Like 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 our eyes are attracted to the dark. You may see something move, you may see it not. Like there's some scenes you do see him, like clear and shot, and then he'll cut back and he's just gone. Yeah, but I think that works really well because I mean, watching it this week as well. I mean, there's some scenes where he's for a fact that he's not in it. Well, it's kind of like set up to like just play a trick with your mind, and you think,
Mm.
is that a white mask standing in that window while like the two characters are having a conversation on the street, and you're like, no, I'm pretty sure it's just like I don't know, a piece of wood.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's just stuck in your mind. You're like, oh, how creepy is that? That he's just there, probably. Just watching them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And his design as well, it's such a
yeah.
lightning in a bottle, uh, you know, choice to make. Obviously, with the mask alone, it's such an eerie, vacant face that just works so well in shadow. You can't think of anything else when you think, oh, Michael Myers, you think that mask. And it's weird to think, like there were a couple of options, weren't there?
Originally, John Carpenter had selected it was like an Emmett Kelly sad clown mask that was like going to be like one of the original concepts,
Mm.
and um, they had. I think they had like a Richard Nixon mask as well, I believe.
And
So
Spock as
and
well, I think.
Spock as
Yeah.
well, yeah. They thought the sad clown mask like was creepy enough. But I believe Tommy Lee Wallace, the editor, he'd gone out to like a mask store where they were filming, and he picked up a Captain Kirk mask with all the hair on. So then they eventually tested this mask. So they made the eye holes bigger, and they took off the sideburns, and he made all the hair look kind of crazy. And he sprayed it like sharp belly white. And as soon as the actor playing Michael Myers put that on, the room just went silent.
Mm.
And they're like, that's it. That's the one. Carpenter had a lot of like ideas. I believe like in the script it just said it needed to be like a blank expression. His main inspiration for Michael was Westworld, like the original
Oh,
Westworld, I
right.
believe.
Yeah.
Like Yul Brenner's performance in that. If anyone's seen it, I strongly recommend you do because it's another great film. Um, it's that the walking. It's like walking robots, but he's like terrifying. But it's like this guy with just an emotionless face, and he's just going around shooting people. But you put that on a mass killer with a knife, it's like even more terrifying.
It was such a, spur of the moment, lightning in a bottle decision to make. I think that's the beauty of the movie in itself is less is more.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly,
there's there's
exactly.
there's not much gore or blood.
That's yeah.
There's not a
It's
lot of swearing. Like there's nudity, sure, but it's very, you know, purposeful, I guess, apart from one bit when we get to that.
it is like that's one of the reasons why I love Halloween so much. It's theatre of the mind, isn't it?
Mm,
You watch it and you think you watched a bloodbath,
yeah.
and when we watch it, it's like you can't see any blood in this film at all. Josh, do you want to give people like a brief rundown of what the film is?
Um, Well, I've got some notes. We could go bit by bit
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
expand upon each bit, and
sounds good. Yeah,
you'll discover with us what the movie's about,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
So we'll just go through each point that I've got. Usually, what I do when I watch a new movie, obviously, I've watched Halloween many times, but I thought for today it'd be good to write some notes. But for new movies, I like to write notes sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
so I can come back to them and have a
Hmm.
little chortle because I'm weird like that. Um, so the very first thing that you notice about the movie is the iconic soundtrack. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more to be said that hasn't been said already about the soundtrack, really, other than it's just great and it works so well because it's so simple. Um,
Yeah, it's crazy to think that he released the film to executives, um, Compass International, who's behind the film, with no music. His original idea was to
yeah,
have no music, um, and they watched it. According to an interview from him, they watched it and kept looking at their watches midway through and just turned and said to him, "This isn't scary. Like, what is this? You know,
mm,
this needs something. I don't know what it is." So that was like poor Carpenter. You know, he's made like the biggest film of his career, and it's already like not looking good.
yeah,
And he goes away for like 3 days before his next meeting with them, and he has to come up with some kind of something to save his baby. You know.
yeah. And he
Um,
wasn't very, like, he knew the basics from his dad, but he wasn't very musically
yeah,
inclined at that
yeah,
time anyway.
yeah,
Obviously, he's
yeah.
full into it now, but
Mm.
at that time, he only knew sort of basic chords and stuff that he learnt when he was younger. So he just applied
Do you remember
what he knew.
the name of that? So you don't. He's,
5/4s or
yeah,
something?
that's it. That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah. Because you do that on the drums, but he transferred that to the piano,
yeah,
which created the greatest soundtrack in horror cinema. You
yeah.
know? So,
I mean, it's up there with
yeah,
like the Doctor Who theme tune. You
yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's one of those beautiful themes that you just like instantly, you know
Well,
what it is.
he tells people now, like, he said in interviews that kids play that on the piano now to show how they know how to play. You know, so
Yeah,
instead of Happy Birthday, they play the Halloween theme, which is, like he said, is like a bit trouble, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we live in a
yeah.
strange age, you
But I
know.
mean, those kids have great taste
Yeah,
in
yeah,
films. Like, they're
yeah.
going to grow up normal, just like us.
Sure, sure, yes. No, yeah. It
Yeah,
used to be chopsticks, but now it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
Halloween thing. Yeah, but
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
the
before that,
original soundtrack is just
Chef's
chef's.
Kiss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. So obviously there's a beautiful opening sequence of the pumpkin,
Mhm.
iconic as well. Um, and then we get a spooky nursery rhyme from some kids before we
Yes.
get into the
Yeah.
actual movie. And I feel like, quote me if I'm wrong, correct me even. I corrected myself just then. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like that's one of the first instances of using like sing-songy nursery rhyme kids stuff in a horror movie. To
Yeah.
me, anyway.
I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like obviously you hear it most prominent in like Nightmare on Elm Street. Obviously the 1, 2, 3 is coming for you stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I feel like this is the first use of it
Hmm.
that I remember anyway. Where it's used in a creepy manner. I
Yeah.
guess.
It's like even, yeah. But before that, we just had Hammer films and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that. Where yeah, you didn't have any involvement with kids necessarily. So yeah,
Mm, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Brought the innocence into it. Yeah. No, that's yeah. You're right. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
It was taboo, you know,
Yeah.
stuff really.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's a this is a horrific movie, but um, it's still filmmaking behind it. It's just so well done. Okay, so after that beautiful title sequence, we come into the one shot, which is the
Yeah.
POV of a very young Michael Myers who looks quite tall for his age, given
I was going to say, he's like, yeah, it's like, God, he's a tall 6-year-old, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
It's like
big boy. Um,
instantly unnerving that,
yeah,
instantly, yeah. 'Cause it cuts from black straight to that, and it's like the silence, and you hear like owls in the background, and
mm,
you're like, ooh, I don't like this. You just instantly feel like I shouldn't be here, and it's that point of view, and like Carpenter's instantly making you feel like, yeah, yeah, we're transporting to this world, and you're not going to like it. So
Yeah, no,
you
it's
know,
definitely silent. And going back to the no soundtrack thing, there are shots in this movie that would work without soundtrack.
oh yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
this first bit is without anything really, just the
hmm
ambiance of it.
hmm
But there are shots in it that really would be quite effective without it, like when he's far off in the distance and stuff like that.
oh
Obviously, you
yeah,
get the stings and stuff, but
definitely, yeah.
um, yeah, there is an eeriness to it all. Um, but there is, even though like it's sold as a one shot, it looks like they do cut at one point. Maybe when young Michael puts his clown mask on.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
No, no, you
Um,
hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
right.
There's I think it was yeah, it was a documentary I watched, a cut above the rest. It was called. It was Deborah Hill said, yeah, they had to cut when he gets to the top of the stairs, and it's so seamless how it's done. He grabs the mask and boom,
Mm.
and then that's the second shot. Then, but you couldn't even tell. It's done so
Yeah,
effortlessly,
yeah,
So
yeah. It's very like when you're older, you do kind of notice the split second cut, I guess. But
yes, yeah,
when you're just fully invested in it when you're younger and stuff like that, um, it does look really seamless. And obviously, we come to the thing that starts it all,
hmm hmm
which is Michael stabbing his sister to death.
you assume seeing this for the first time, it's a guy going to like murder this girl.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's
And the reveal
the
that it's
shock. Yeah,
as a kid, you're like, oh god. I mean,
yeah.
this is a new era of horror that we're not ready for. It's incredible.
Mm.
What a twist already at the start.
So yeah, very jarring. And that reveal when he takes the mask off, it's just like, oh,
Yeah,
awful.
yeah. That catatonic stare right
Yeah,
away. Yeah, just incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So after that big reveal, we cut to a couple of years later, and we're heading to Smith's Grove with Dr. Loomis and the nurse, and they're driving, and I think it's raining at night time.
This is Halloween 15 years later, so 1978. We're on now. Yeah, yeah. So Michael is 21. That's right.
About 21,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was 6 when he murdered his sister, I think. I could be wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last going back that intro shot, but we'll come back to. Sorry to interrupt, but I should just say my last chance to get this before we move on.
Yeah.
Lots to get through here, folks. Very last thing they filmed.
How was that
Yeah,
shot?
because it took 3 full days to get it right.
Oh,
You know, that guy with the steady cam on his shoulder must have retired after that because
yeah.
my back can't take this anymore.
It must have
Yeah,
been an
yeah,
intense
yeah,
shoot, really, because they had to get it so right.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I believe it was 20 days they filmed it.
that's
I
that's
mean,
tough.
20 days on $320,000, which is insane to think that like
Yeah,
these people did this. It's like, but like I mean that's just like how incredible it is that they did it in such a short period of time. They just ate, slept, and breathed the film for those 20 days. But yeah,
yeah. It's very scrappy,
yeah,
and I really appreciate that.
I'd love to be part of filmmaking back then. What a great time just to experience films.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's a very different landscape now, isn't it? It's very corporate. It's very by the books.
yeah.
But back then it was sort of anything goes. If
Mhm.
you've got a camera, go go out there and make it, mate.
Your parents said to you, "Get out there and make something of yourself."
You're gonna be a star. Get out there.
Sorry, yeah, to interrupt you.
Oh no, it's all
Back
right.
to your point there. Yeah, so 15 years later, that's where we're up to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to go pick up Michael. He's not spoken to anyone since that night, as Loomis says, and he refers to Michael as an it, not a him or anything like that. Um, and this gets elaborated on later on, but he's very cut and dry about it. He's like, I don't want him to be pulling anything, and I want you to take full precautions. We need to track him like he's a horse.
Yeah. Loomis knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
He's fought for years to get him transferred to a more secure, even like a prison, or even like how young he is. He says it. It was like a TV film version of this film where he's talking to the courts and he says, "This is the most dangerous patient I've ever handled."
Mm.
and no one listens to him, so he
Yeah,
knows exactly what's coming. So I think that's Donald. Always Donald Pleasant's eerie performance as well.
yeah, yeah.
It's just
We'll get into it more
yeah,
later because
yeah,
obviously he has that beautiful monologue.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, there is such a coldness to it, but such a fear as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Especially when we get to that point later on. But yeah, the thing that we find out about Michael in this bit is that he's escaped, as well as loads of other um, patients from the asylum. And they're all just sort of huddling around in the grass in the far bit, and it's such an eerie shot as well, with the music going as well.
I literally thought about it and got a goosebump there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's terrifying. Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
haunting.
yeah, yeah.
I think the white sheets as well. They all look.
It looks like they're floating.
Yeah, yeah. The
It's just
tall grass, it makes them.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so spooky. So the nurse is like, do do, mind the business, and then Michael pounces onto the top of the car and literally like tries to grab her out of the car. It's such a scary shot as well. When
It actually looks like he's jumping out of hell.
yeah,
There's
because
like
of the red.
there's a red
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
red from the car lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's happened. Michael's escaped. He's driving away somewhere.
We're introduced to young Jimmy Lee.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah,
Laurie
yeah,
Strode. Yeah.
yeah.
Her dad's I believe he's like a
He's
real
a
estate.
real estate guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Gives her a key to drop off at the old Myers house.
yeah. So
Yeah,
what we learn is that since that night, nobody's been in that house really. It's just been left to rot.
yeah.
So I think, Laurie's dad is like, right, let's sell it to these guys and they can fix it up, whatever they want to do. Turn it into wood chip.
Really, as you get older, like watching this film, you start to feel for her father more. As a he's got this job. He's just trying to make it as a estate agent,
Yeah,
and
and all
he's
this
been given
happened.
this task of selling this horrible place.
Yeah, yeah. That must
Yeah,
be just like
you know,
a black spot on the
he's the
community.
true underdog of this film,
Yeah.
and you never see him again.
It looks, even though it's meant to be around Halloween, well, it is Halloween, the day
Mhm.
that it all happens. It looks like the middle of summer. Yeah, the trees are green, the grass is green.
I believe it's filmed in June. Yes.
Yeah, but they got around it with having bags and bags of leaves.
Yeah.
They were just,
And pick them up and put them in a bin bag and go to
yeah,
the next
yeah,
scene, which is incredible work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone chipped in on that. I think even Jamie, they
yeah,
just
yeah.
got a bag and started like,
I mean, I think it worked out for her. She was like, she had a lot to prove, didn't she? I think
yeah,
the producers admitted this that they selected her just because she was Janet Leigh's daughter and look for promotional purposes. Janet Leigh's
oh
daughter
yeah,
in from Psycho, in Halloween.
yeah,
But I mean, no, I mean, she instantly proves that you just get on Laurie's side right away. She's so likable. You just want
mm.
to root for her. So like
Yeah. She's done so well for herself,
yeah.
and she's so charismatic in
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you really do feel for her the
Yeah.
whole time, even
Okay.
when her mates are like, across the road and she's stuck babysitting, just like, oh, poor
Oh,
you.
I know. Every scene you're not with her, I wonder what Laurie's doing.
Yeah, what's she up to? Watching the
just
thing.
just on her own, watching the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
It's my ideal Halloween night.
it's not a bad
Yeah.
way to spend your night, honestly. Make a pumpkin, watch the thing, pretty good. She's off to the Myers house,
Yeah, okay.
and there's a very there's a very eerie shot where we just see him just
At the doorway.
yeah
Yeah.
pounce into
Mhm.
shot,
Mhm.
and you hear that iconic Michael Myers breathing. It's used really effectively throughout the movie.
Mhm. Mhm.
When he's doing his kills, there's struggles there, where he's breathing heavier and stuff like that. There's almost like a desperate need and an excitement to it
It's like
when
when
he's
the
breathing.
kids, even when he's not in shot, but you hear it, you think he's there somewhere
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that scene.
yeah.
So yeah,
There's
you know.
there's definitely shots in the movie where you just hear it in the back,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you're like, where is he? Where is he?
Mhm.
Where is he
Mhm.
now?
Mhm.
Um, so it's a great way to just instill that paranoia in the
Mhm.
viewer. He's been waiting impatiently for this night.
Mhm.
He's been staring at the wall, looking past it.
Yeah, yeah.
The real scariness of it all is that there's no real motivation beyond.
Hmm.
he just does it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's evil in a nutshell. Is that there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just is. It's always just going to be there. You know.
Good works so well about the first one is just, we get into it more as the series goes on. Why he's obsessed with Laurie, but in the first one, he's just obsessed with this one person. And I think that's terrifying.
Yeah, and I've made a note of the song that Laurie's like humming to herself.
Oh yeah,
The lyrics are, "I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us."
improvised by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a eerie thing because she's walking down the street and then you see Michael's shoulder and it's like, oh, dear Lord, man.
I was like most people though. I was like looking for that song. I remember googling that song, and nothing would come up. But
Yeah,
then in an interview, she said people were asking her like, "Who sings that?" And she was like, "No one. I was given the direction to sing. Be on the way to school and like sing something. John
mm,
Carpenter told me to sing something, and I just thought I just thought of these words. Thought of the situation that I'm in,
yeah,
and just came up with that. I was like, wow. It's like people thought that was like some kind of iconic song from some
yeah.
band. But yeah, yeah,
Way to
yeah,
tie these two
yeah,
characters together.
yeah,
Um, just such a spark of
yeah.
genius from Jamie Lee there. So after that little transaction, we cut to, it's just Loomis doing his own thing. He's shouting at figures of authority. And he remarks on the fact that Michael can drive. Michael's a driver.
Yeah. He just what like Smith Grove Sanitarium to where it was to Haddonfield is what 150 miles, did he say? I believe.
Oh,
He's
think
driven he's driven well there.
yeah, yeah. Straight down. Oh, that's what I want to mention. Because obviously he steals the
The overalls,
overalls
yeah, yeah.
from a Phelps garage
Yes,
mechanic.
yeah.
Is that the same company that we see in Halloween 4? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it?
yeah, yeah, you're on it. Yeah, that's I believe that's the homage from
Right.
that film's direct from right to the original film.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought
Right.
I'd mention it, but yeah.
Because after the first film, the fact before we got to number four, it took various twists and turns that most people weren't happy with. So number
Yeah.
four very much became a let's go back to basics. Let's try and pay tribute to the original films. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Is that the
yeah.
first instance of that as well, where it's like, let's be nostalgic for people? Because you see that a lot
Yeah,
in movies.
yeah.
It's kind of like a soft reboot sort of thing, but it's still continuing on from the original.
Halloween 4 came out in 1988, and I believe lots of sequels were coming out in those years, especially
Mm.
because Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th became massive franchises. So I think even with them films, because the sequels to those are great. Um, I think Halloween was the first one that kind of like stepped up and were like, hang on, we're not doing anything right here. Let's
Yeah.
go back to what made us successful in the first place, and it worked. That's
And then we go to the school, Haddonfield
always
School,
good. Yeah, yeah,
where Laurie's in class. She's sort of daydreaming. She's like, la da, la da. But the teacher's talking about fate and destiny, which is
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Um, much like Michael Myers himself, fate never changes.
How it all ties together. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, when you watch these movies, sometimes it's, you think you're just watching an average like slasher movie, or you're just watching a bit of popcorn fluff.
Hmm.
90 minutes of passing the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes they put in little nuggets of like, oh no, we do have intention behind this. We do have you know thought and intent.
Hmm.
It's not just we're making a quick buck.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so it's nice when sort of surprised by stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there is far more going on than what you see on the screen, because it is a simple movie, but the themes are so rich.
And fun fact on Halloween 2018, did you know they pay tribute to the original film a lot, and they have Laurie's granddaughter in that film in that classroom in Haddonfield High School, and
Oh,
they have the teacher giving
yeah.
the same lecture about fate, and it's PJ Souls playing the teacher, who's Linda, Laurie's friend in this. Yeah, so
Oh,
that's a
that's
nice
sick.
little nod. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah,
Very cool. I like that.
yeah.
So this is the first sort of instance that we see Michael.
Oh yeah, this is where he stood behind the car, right? It's the station
Yeah,
wagon, the
and
infamous station wagon outside.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Cool shot that.
you get the classic ever. You know, he's there, the car goes, and he's gone.
Another scene thinks actually works quite well without music
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the shots that would be fine without music.
because they played it in the documentary I was watching where they had both scenes together, and obviously the haunting piano melody over the top of it is yeah, you have to use that. That's horrific, terrifying.
Yeah, yeah,
Makes your skin crawl. But they showed the one without music, and I was like, they kind of make the say, yeah, look at the difference here. Isn't this version really bad without the music? But I was thinking, actually, no, it's both same reaction. To be
yeah,
honest, yeah,
yeah.
So
And
there's some guy just outside looking at her in a mask.
yeah, in real life, if you saw that Halloween or anything, you'd just be like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
So that
So,
happens. We talk about fate with the teacher. Tommy gets bullied by those kids who are like, the boogeyman's gonna get you. They smash his pumpkin, which is a horrible moment. I was like, oh,
all right, yeah, I'm not a fan of Tommy Dolan. That is pretty mean.
yeah,
You know.
I don't want to see that. But then, all the kids run off, and then Michael's there and he grabs
Oh
one of
my
the
God!
kids.
Yeah, I knew you were going to get to this point.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's terrifying. That. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean that that poor kid just traumatized for life. That's
I would be as well. Some rando grabbed me and then just stared at them.
it's how aggressive he grabs him, but then goes to just being normal again.
Yeah.
It's like
It's almost like he considers, do I do it now?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's some credit to who's it? Nick Castle, who is a stuntman who plays Michael Myers.
Yeah.
His
Well,
dad.
one of the many people who plays him.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I feel like most of the crew played him.
He gets credited for just his movement. Because his dad was a famous dancer, wasn't he? So
Mm.
he had great. Can't remember his name. Gosh,
Mr. Castle.
Mr. Castle. He was John Carpenter's friend who showed up to sets and asked just to hang out
Mm.
to what just to watch them film
Yeah.
this.
What are you
And
up to, man?
but John Carpenter, it's just like the little things, how these iconic things come to be.
Mm.
He just said to him, "Well, we're quite busy here. Like, so if you're not going to do anything, do you want to do something? So like, put on the mask and you'll be the guy chasing these kids around." So at that point, he just didn't really have an actor in mind to play
Mm.
Michael. He was just, it just needs to be someone in a mask.
Yeah.
They don't need to have like, what's my motivation and all this. Which just it just makes it perfect. The fact that he wasn't an actual actor.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Um,
And he
I,
actually asked Carpenter in that as well, what's my motivation for this one scene? And John Carpenter just went, you're at point A and you need to get to point B. Just walk. I was like, incredible direction. Just walk. And he does that beautifully.
yeah. I feel like,
You know.
I really appreciate the guy who plays him in the new trilogy.
Yeah, James
Um,
Jude Courtney. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
in interviews and stuff, he talks about his process and how he gets to that mindset of being Michael and the walk and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it makes you think of what we just discussed there, where it was just a guy walking at the end of the day, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
adds to the fact that this guy is sort of an unknowable entity. He's a guy, but we don't know anything about him. We don't
Force of
know.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Laurie and her friends Annie and Linda,
And,
and
yeah.
they're talking about the prom. They're totally gonna get hammered and stuff like that.
We should play a drinking game watching this next time we watch it and drink every time Linda says totally.
Oh,
You'd be plastered
yeah,
about
yeah.
10 minutes into the film.
You'd have a break for a bit, and then 20 more shots after that. So they're going through. They're basically day to day. They're like, oh, the boys, oh, great
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
They're talking about their books, and it's like, well, I totally don't need my books. English, math, I totally don't need stuff like
I
that.
think that works well because great Deborah Hill, who was producer writer, she was John Carpenter's girlfriend at the time. I think they split the duties really well. Deborah came up with all the female dialogue. That's
Mm,
all her.
yeah,
I think like it works so well. She did that while John Carpenter was over like developing the evil aspect, the Michael Myers.
mm,
Which is like two great minds coming
Yeah,
together, isn't it? So yeah, but yeah, it works really well. You just think like you listen to it for the first time, you're like, that's just great writing. Just
yeah,
these three girls talking to each other.
yeah. It
So
feels it feels natural for the
it's
time,
like
and
the three actors that don't know each other, but you look at them for the first time, like they've been friends for years. You can tell.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It all feels
you know,
true to their characters, and
yeah.
they've all got their own personality,
Mhm.
And then shenanigans happen. They're talking for a while. They're going their separate ways. Annie and Laurie are together for a bit at this point, and then we see the hedge scene where Michael just is slightly out
And then he moves back in
and
behind
moves
it.
back in, and I'm like, who was that? Who was that? And he very, uh, foolishly, like if you see someone eerie like that, I wouldn't, I'd cross the road, But she's like, oh, who's this? Isn't your secret admirer?
Yeah.
Um,
Like, yeah.
and this is the part. This is the part where you see John Carpenter's cigarette
Cigarettes
smoke
from
from
seeing that in your notes as well.
from behind the camera. It's clear as day. You can see it go across Annie's face.
He was so stressed, bless him.
Yeah, well, you only got a handful of days to get this in the can. I'd be stressed as well. But yeah, they go their separate ways eventually, and it shakes up Laurie a bit. But eventually, she gets back. She hears a noise. She's like spooked a bit. But she realizes it's trick or treaters out. And she's like, I quote, "Well, kiddo, thought you outgrew superstitions," which is a very ironic line given what happens to her in some of these timelines where she's so paranoid and she's so overcome with this fixation on Michael and what happened that night and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It just makes
yeah,
me think, oh, the irony of that. Even though in
yeah,
this movie
yeah.
that's not, that's not really thought of. But so yeah, that happens, and she's getting into her home. She sees Michael again in the window in the washing line,
It's
which is
just
another creepy image.
it's just a series of iconic shots in this film.
Yeah, beautiful but terrifying.
Much like because she sees him and then he's just like vanishes.
I wonder how he does
Yeah,
that. Could she staring at him and then they
yeah.
cut and he's gone?
But I mean, I suppose it plays with so Laurie's already seen him, and she's at this point she's starting to get really scared. So
Mm.
I think another thing I read about that, like Dean Cundy, who was director of photography, I think he mentioned we wanted to set this up. Is it Michael in her backyard? Could be, or is it just Laurie's seeing things?
Mm. Yeah,
Could be nothing.
that's a good take on it. Yeah.
Because she knows what he looks like now, and she's terrified of that mask. So she's probably just seeing him
Oh
in random
yeah,
places.
like our minds can play tricks on us at the
Yeah.
best of
So
times.
again, he could be in a completely different place, or
Yeah.
it could have been him. But he just like he said, like that was John, just leaving it up to us again.
And then we come to a scene where Loomis goes to a graveyard with this guy who works at the cemetery, and he talks about a story of some normal guy.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to talk about this. What do you think the ending was to that story? So
I think it's just a parallel to it's, you think you have this normal person in your life, and then
is
just one
this
day they snap.
is this the town? It's like another town legend who he was sat at his dinner with his family, I believe, and
Yeah, they gave him a kiss, and
he
then
went out and got a hacksaw and came back in, and then Lewis interrupts him.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
assume
yeah.
you can guess what happens next. But I think it is just it's sort of parallel to Michael, where he's just a normal kid until he hits six,
And he snaps.
and he snaps, and he just becomes
Yeah.
this
Mm.
vessel for
Mm.
monstrous acts.
It's just really funny how Lewis just gets really bored.
Enough about that.
Where are we?
Where the hell are you? He doesn't know where he is half the movie.
I think that was just double. I think that I honestly think watching that again, that guy was meant to finish that story, and Donald Pleasance just went, "I've had enough of this."
Maybe they did a couple of takes and he had enough. Yeah. And then it come to where Judith Myers' tombstone should be, but has been robbed.
Really, who would do such a thing?
I know. Darn kids.
Look, because this is set in the Midwest. I love that Midwestern humor. we're just some kids.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like we'd be like, no, hang on, no kid would lift a headstone.
yeah.
It's
No.
just like
I can't remember in this scene if we, because I feel like in 2018 we do see Michael in like a similar place where we see him in the background when he's just escaped. But I feel like it's just the scene where we see Loomis discover, oh, Judith Myers's tombstone's gone.
Mhm.
But I can't remember seeing Michael in that bit. I think it's just to establish that.
No, he's not. Yeah, I mean, you see trees in the background moving. So again, it's very much because he is an entity at this point. You're
Yeah.
very much led to believe he could be there. He might not be
Mm.
there.
But he does have a presence throughout the movie, even
Mhm,
if he's not there,
mhm,
especially in shadow, because it
mhm.
just makes you think like that primal scare in the dark.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then we cut back to the kids in the car driving, and
Yes,
they're
yeah.
talking about boys, and specifically talking about Laurie's crush, Ben Traynor.
What's playing on the
Mm.
radio, Josh? Did you?
Is it Mr. Sandman, or is that later?
Oh, close. I'm gonna
Mm.
say close. It's later, not close. Don't fear the Reaper. Lee Armstrong.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't catch
Nice
that.
little touch. I mean, it's like, yeah, you deliberately supposed to hear it. It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
well, I'm dead.
nice little touch by Carpenter. Yeah.
I think it's during this scene that they drive past the sheriff who's at the general store
Annie's dad, who's the
and
sheriff.
his
Yeah,
dad. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Lee Brackett.
yeah, and we see that there's been a break in.
Someone broke into the hardware store, stole a mask, some rope, a couple of knives, probably just kids.
Yeah, not to worry about. A couple of kitchen knives, but
I
yeah,
mean, he's got a point, but it's just like I just that's why I love these films.
mm.
That's well part of the reason they're like damn kids.
There is a good fun to it
Yeah,
in those moments. It
no
gives
harm can come to us.
it
You
gives
know.
the town personality
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
they're just
yeah,
so laid back.
yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
like this happens really,
yeah.
apart from the whole Michael incident back in the 60s. I
Mhm.
think it's during this scene as well that we see Laurie and Annie, they drive off, and then Loomis huddles
Yeah,
out of his car and
yeah.
he's like, Sheriff, I need to talk to you.
Great. I mean, yeah, great pairing.
Oh, yeah,
The
throughout,
sheriff and Loomis. I mean, it
throughout the
just
movie, yeah.
yeah, they really bounce well off each other. There's
Yeah.
great chemistry. Yeah.
So they establish a relationship, and we get into the investigation of Michael himself,
Hmm.
and we end up eventually going to the Myers house with Loomis and Sheriff Brackett. We see that you know it's all been left to rot for years. It's pretty much like no one wants to go here, no one wants to touch this.
Um, on
So,
that shot though, where they're stood outside the house, I know touched on it earlier. The way it's set up, you can see they're having the conversation, but you can see the house in the background, and there's a lot of focus to the top window of the house. It's pitch black, but you can see a white circle, and it's just like going back to that theater of the mind. You watching it, and it really stays on the shot for so long that you're thinking like, is that moving?
yeah,
But it's like them two still talking. You think like, I was like, he's somewhere else, like keeping an eye on Laurie because that's focusing on him. And it was like, has he come back to the house? I think looking back on it, it is just like a board or something that's out of place.
yeah,
But it's just great how it's set up. And then we get to probably the most iconic scene in the whole film.
yeah. It's like it's on the level of like the Jaws monologue, you know,
Yeah,
um, where it's so well done, it's so well acted. You can see in this moment how scared of Michael he is, and the ramifications of he's out. What's he going to do?
hmm
You
hmm
know.
yeah,
Um, so he's really trying to tell the sheriff like this evil needs to be kept under lock and key,
yeah.
and we just learn what we can, whatever, but just keep him out of
hmm
humanity's
hmm
eye.
Up to this point, Loomis is like quite new, like he's hunting him, and you think, oh, he's fearless. He's going into all these situations. Just he's got his gun, which he
Mm.
shows in the scene because I think one of the boards from the house smashes the window,
Oh yeah, and he's
and
jolted by it.
it's the first time you see him do it. He just freaks out. Like the gun comes out, and like it's such a small thing. It doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people watch it, but the way he just says, because like the sheriff says to him, it looks to me just like you're downright scared. And he goes, yes, I am.
And he's been
Yeah,
around him the longest,
yeah,
really,
yeah.
even longer than his parents. After that, we cut to the babysitting bits. So
Yeah,
Tommy's watching a movie he probably shouldn't. The Thing from Another
it's the
World,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
the original Thing.
1950 version, I
Yeah,
believe. Yeah, yeah.
but he's just chilling, doing his Halloween night. And I think there's a shot of him looking over to Lindsay's house, and he does see Michael in the
We see the
shadows.
outline of him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the shape. I hate those shots
That
because they're
shot,
so.
I see that shot being used in like books and like film essays and like books I've read on this is always like you open the page, they'll talk about Halloween for like a section, and that shot's always used.
Mm,
And I think it's just like because the framing of it, the meaning behind it. I think it's reference to European cinema as well because you see lots of blue lights.
mm.
Apart that was like deliberate as well, like by Dean Cundey and John Carpenter. They wanted to pay tribute to European cinema in that shot, so that's why it looks like that.
Oh yeah,
Just
some
but
beautiful
it just
shots.
it just looks like a portrait, looks like a painting.
Mm.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so eerie. But we eventually cut back to Lindsay's, and she's watching the Thing as well.
Annie's locked in the laundry room, and she's trying to get Lindsay's attention, and we see Michael roaming around outside,
Yeah, yeah. It's starting to get a bit tense that he's just around constantly, and you think any minute it's going to pop off.
and the phone rings, and he's screaming at Lindsay to get the phone because it's her boyfriend,
Mm.
which she eventually does,
Yeah.
and we hear Paul on the phone, who is voiced by John Carpenter.
Oh, was that him?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. Nice. John Carpenter was in Halloween. There you go.
Michael's in the back for a little bit, and
Yeah,
she's pacing back and forth on the phone.
like he's there, he's not there, and then he's there again.
Yeah,
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 those particular scenes, they very much. He said he wanted to do like almost like a Jack in the Box kind of. It's coming,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the music's built into it, and then bam, it'll come.
They they go, and she's like, she wants to use her car,
Mhm.
but originally she can't open her car because she forgot her keys. So she goes back, comes back, she can open the door.
And then one of the biggest jump scares in the film. So Michael pops up in the back seat, and
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure in every cinema that film was shown at the time, popcorn went to the ceiling about 15 feet high because that is brutal.
it's such a yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see him until
Bam.
unfortunately, uh, Annie is strangled and then stabbed in the back,
Hmm.
which ends her life. Eventually, we cut back to Loomis, and he's still, he's having a piss in the bush. He's waiting for Mike.
Obviously, Tommy's bullies from earlier
Oh
come into the
yeah,
house.
like
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
scared.
And then I find that's just God, I love Lewis. And then he's just being a big kid himself. He's
Yeah.
got a bit of time to kill here. He's like, yeah, say the line.
What's the kid's name like?
Lonnie.
Lonnie. Hey Lonnie, get your ass away from there. Linda makes a call to Laurie or vice versa, and they're just assessing the situation, what's going on, where's Annie? She should be home by now, whatever. So that's a bit weird. That's a bit like, oh, okay. But Linda and Bob aren't bothered because they're horny.
Yeah.
Laurie's just a bit like, okay, weird.
Mm-hmm.
But they see that like Lindsay and Tommy are over at Tommy's house for the night. So Linda and Bob are like, cha-ching. It's just me and you for a bit. Let's go. We get to the famous line right after they've done their bit, where Linda says,
Go get me a beer.
"Be right back. Do not get dressed." Did you peek what they are drinking in the movie?
It's not Blue Ribbon, is it now? No.
No, it's original Budweiser.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah. It's a vintage can, so it looks a bit different. Yeah, he's gone to get a beer. She's there, like, pulling up a cigarette, and he's downstairs. It's pitch black. I put a light on myself, but eventually, he thinks someone's messing around in the back, as in there's something faint in like the living room or something like that. He's like, "Okay, guys, come on," or he thinks it's Linda doing something, and then it's just the big sting of Michael
Michael
coming in.
appears.
So yeah, Bob's killed, and we see how strong Michael is.
Yeah, I read up on that scene as well, and as John Carpenter said, I didn't give Nick Castle any direction to play Michael Myers, but he did do this one creepy thing in this one shot where he killed Bob, where he pins him up against the wall, and he does the now iconic. Wasn't directed at all, so like he just did it and he kept it in the scene. Apparently, it was one take.
Hmm.
He tilted his head out to side. Great choice by Nick Castle to do that.
Yeah,
You know, and that went on become, and then we see the shot then of he's admiring his work like a work of art, and it's another iconic shot where he's just looking at Bob.
these small little choices become
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
impactful to the
Mm-hmm.
franchise. Like in the case of Michael, there is this like an artistry. I know it's a macabre thing to say about people getting murdered by some guy, but there's like there's a gracefulness to what he does. I see Michael. If he was an animal, I'd see him as like a barn owl. You know, he's quiet,
Mm-hmm.
much like a barn owl is like their flight when they're flapping is silent,
Yeah,
or near enough, and it's very like to the point. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and it's over within a flash.
mm-hmm.
But it's done with great efficiency. That's all happened, and Linda's, she's still smoking away in bed, and then we see the door eerily open slowly to reveal a man in a sheet. That's an equally iconic look as well. Is that choice for him to just do that? There's a playfulness to.
Yeah. It's like the first time he showed like real personality.
Yeah.
He's like going back to being a cat. He's got his paw on the mice's tail. He's like
Yeah.
she's not getting out of this house at all, and he's just playing with her, and it's just terrifying.
And it goes back to being this quiet kid as well.
He still has like a kid's brain in a way, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The mind of a kid. So
that's all he's known.
That's when he got incarcerated. It's kind of like he stopped growing in a way.
Yeah, he's just stayed like that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But anyway, Linda's getting annoyed with Bob, quote unquote, because he's not responding to anything. So she's like, "Oh, this is going nowhere. I'm just going to call Laurie and see what she's up to." Laurie's on the phone with Linda, and just before Linda can say anything,
so she's in trouble. She's in trouble.
Strangled by the telephone wire.
Telephone cord around the neck.
Yeah, goes on way too long. And Laurie's genuinely distressed until she doesn't hear anything from Linda. And we don't see anything of Linda after that until a little bit later on. And we see Michael's sheet has been pulled off him, just from the whole rough and tumble of it.
It's the phone to his ear.
And that's such a great shot. It's
the first time you see him up close.
Yeah, first time we get an up close, proper shot of Michael in the mask. And it's such a scary image.
Visual,
yeah.
It's the slow head movements and the way he kind of recognizes the voice on the phone.
It's such that shot has stuck with me for years because it's it's so creepy. Talking about it, I'm getting chills.
Yeah, I read somewhere that they filmed that like 20 times with the whole phone cord around the neck because apparently obviously all these serial killers in these films are like the nicest. They're always like gentlemen. Apparently the guy who played Michael Myers was like a jokester and he was like really really nice. And then the actress who played Linda has famously said at like conventions. Yeah, she's like, I had to like beg him to like, you can. He was like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you with the phone cord. And she was like, no, just go for it. But she was like, in the end up, he just wasn't doing it. And it was like, I mean, great performance by her because it looks like, wow, she's really in trouble.
Yeah.
But apparently he's putting no effort in there at all. It's all her,
So basically, my note here at this point is it kicks off when Laurie goes across the road. It's peak tension and terror. And there's not much beyond what I say in that notes, really.
This is a great sequence where she knows something is going on in that house across the road, and we see her. Yeah, she checks on the kids. They're asleep, and she leaves, and then the iconic theme starts playing of her slowly walking, and the house is in darkness now, and so she's
total darkness,
and she's walking into a trap.
So she goes upstairs,
yeah,
and she sees almost like a set piece done by Michael here.
His exhibition,
like look at my work, basically.
see the famous headstone, Judith Myers headstone
Judith
on the bed.
Myers with Linda on the bed, almost like a Christ position.
Yeah, yeah,
From what I remember from last night,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's just that in itself with the
yeah.
jack o' lantern on
Oh
the
God,
side as
yeah,
well, creepy.
yeah.
So she's reeling from the
It's like
fact
I
that
don't want to do this podcast anymore. I'm scared.
it's getting dark now. Basically, she's taken aback in just sheer
Mhm,
shock,
mhm, mhm.
which then Bob Falls from that still got me last night. It's like, oh,
Great jump scare. Yeah.
yeah,
Still, yeah. What, like 50 years later, it still
yeah.
holds up. Amazing. Yeah, it's great.
Bob like dangles from the top of the
Not one drop of blood.
no, no.
You know.
And then she opens like a laundry door, something like that, and squeezed in, just shoved in, is Annie.
Linda.
No, Annie. Isn't Linda on the bed?
Annie's on the bed.
How is it
Yeah.
switch around?
This is yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
Her life just changes in that 1 second.
Yeah,
Went from just pure innocence to just pure trauma and terror.
yeah. She's
Yeah.
traumatized. She's grief ridden immediately.
Mhm.
Like what? She can't even process what's going on,
Mhm.
and she's just like slouched in the darkness.
So that famous shot, then that open space, she's beside all this black space, and like, where is he?
We see that ghostly face
Yeah, yeah.
come into the light, to which she gets stabbed right down
Mhm.
or sliced right down the arm. And I think it's at this point where she falls down the stairs.
It's a great shot, isn't it? That there's like a POV. You can see the camera. I was thinking, did they just throw a camera down the
They might
stairs?
have done like fuck it,
Or it's
whatever.
just like prop someone up, like, are you ready? Go.
Yeah,
So,
don't know how else they would have done it back then. Michael's coming down the stairs, he's booking it.
we have Laurie leave the house.
Yeah, she's wailing for anyone to help.
Yeah.
They're all like, some kids, some 10 kids. She runs across, but I think when she fell down the stairs, her keys fell out of the pocket. So she's banging on the door for Tommy to open the door. He's stressed. She comes in.
His walk, man, it's like it's like he's walking, but it's almost like he's just running. It's just
It's
the
it's
way he
walking
does
with
it.
purpose.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
just
I'm gonna get
yeah,
in now.
yeah.
Such a terrifying shot cutting back to him. I love that bit.
And then we see the open window, and we hear the breathing
Oh
again.
yeah,
And
yeah.
another shot still gets me because
Is
thinking
she?
like in that he was just there, and he's already in the house. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
and
I
he had just enough time to cut the telephone. Laurie, in a stroke of genius, uses one of the knitting,
knitting needles
yeah,
comes in handy.
stabs it in his neck. He's
Yeah.
like, freak it out.
It's for our first kind of idea that we see that right, Michael's not human, is he? Because he's come back from that, and that would kill any normal person probably.
Yeah, stabbed in the neck like that. Plus, I think she stabs him with his own knife at that point.
Oh yeah, they get up the stairs and they have another scuffle. That's leading to the wardrobe sequence.
I don't,
Yeah,
but she
Oh yeah,
stabs him first,
that's right. That's right.
and
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
first time that she throws away the knife.
She gives it back to him. You mean she just like
Yeah.
drops it beside him? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, the horror's
Yeah,
over. I'm
yeah,
gonna go upstairs, check the
yeah.
kids. Like, I got the boogeyman. It's okay. I need you to go out and run, whatever, call the police, whatever.
Mhm.
We see Michael right in the back, and he's like, "You're right, mate."
That's exactly what he says.
His first line in the movie, no, it's not. He's just in the back, and it's like, okay, now he's back, he's here.
Yeah, because he's out of focus, so like the focus is on Laurie telling the kids to go call for the police, but you see the shadow slowly move up the stairs.
Yeah. So the kids run back into their room. They lock the door. Michael doesn't care about them. He cares about Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
That's been target number one for the day.
Yeah.
It's like when you fixate on some. I'm not justifying this thing. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm trying to equate it to what a human mind is like. Where there's this one detail that you just can't get rid of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Laurie is that one detail where he's like fixated on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So they have a skirmish. She hides in the cupboard, and Michael is just like, not having that.
Which is Tommy Lee Wallace in the mask at that point, I believe. Because he's the film editor, but he's also the production designer. So he wanted to he knew where he could break the set in certain points. So
Mm. Very good use of the light as well, because it goes on at the right times to make it really
the
tense.
flashes of his face,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's the noises. It's them weird noises he mixes with like the grunting noises.
yeah, that's what I
It's like
mean.
yeah,
There's an excited element
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Like
It's yeah. It's
it's
like so close there, but it's, yeah,
yeah,
it's just ugh, God, yeah,
it's so
yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
She stabs Michael again. She gets the kids out of their room. Then she says, like, run out, get some help, call the police, just get away from this house.
So when they bumped into Lewis,
Loomis is, he's looking around the houses and he sees these two kids and he's like, okay, Michael's here. So he's like, okay, like, call to action. But just before that, we see the Undertaker thing
oh
happen.
yeah, 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 the move that inspired the Undertaker.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That was a
so
creepy
good.
shot as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So well done. But yeah,
That's how it's in time with the music. When he sits up and he reaches the
mm,
den, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is the final bit of the movie. So we made it, folks. The final bit of the movie is Laurie's like, she's unaware. She thinks, oh, Michael's beating any normal human when they start. That's it. Michael's like, no, no, I'm not dead. And, starts to strangle her. They have a big skirmish. They have a big rough and tumble. Loomis is booking it up the stairs. And at some point, Laurie, in the scuffle, takes off Michael's mask. And when I was a kid, I was so taken aback and frightened at the fact that, obviously his
Yeah.
eyes been messed up from
That's yeah, it's creepy that shot. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like he's just this normal guy, but he looks so freakish.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the eye's been messed up by the coat hanger, but like,
Mm-hmm. It's like the snarl. He's like growling at her in a way or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's so freaky. And he like
yeah.
desperately puts the mask back on
Mm-hmm.
just before Loomis
Shot him
shoots.
6 times. Shot one. Yeah.
Yeah, he shoots the big one, and then it's another five. I think
Mhm.
I tried to count last night, but I was too busy writing.
I think it's 6. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
six. And he falls out, and it's like an iconic shot of him on the grass, just like that. And we get that iconic line of, "Was it the boogeyman?" As a matter of fact, it was. And Loomis looks back out to the outside of the porch, and he's gone.
He's gone. He's
And
gone.
I think in that bit, there was two takes that they went with.
You're right. Yeah, yeah,
One
yeah.
was like utter disbelief and shock, and the other was like, I knew it. I knew this would happen.
Yeah, because it was Donald Pleasance who played Loomis asked John Carpenter, "How do you want me to play this? Like, I knew this was going to happen, or like, oh my god, he's gotten away." I was like, John Carpenter he said he was trying to play it cool. He's like, first time director, really nervous. This veteran actor's asking this, and he's like, "Can you try both ways for me?" He's like, "I didn't know what to say." Yeah, they went with the "I knew this was going to happen"
Yeah.
one, which speaks volumes. Because that his face just looking out into the darkness, and then famous Halloween music plays. We cut to. I think it's like we see Laurie crying, but I think it could have ended the film right there. But it's like the fact that they then use like a montage of places he's been,
Mm.
and they cut his breathing over the top of it,
Oh,
and
I
it
got chills
was
at the back of my head thinking about that.
like
Yeah.
lots of people, like him getting up off the ground, not being there. Like lots of people, like yeah, they've set up for a sequel. Can't wait, yeah, for Halloween too. That was John Carpenter, but like we had no plans for any sequel at all. That was very much us being like the boogeyman's out there. He could be in your living room. He
Mm.
could be anywhere. He's gone, and yeah,
I think it
and
was a
you know,
beautiful ending, and
yeah, it's great. I mean, it could have worked with just one film. They could have just left it alone. Would have been perfect.
that
You know.
was that was their intention. The original
Yeah,
timeline is that movie and nothing
yeah, yeah, yeah,
else.
yeah.
And I think hindsight's a great thing, especially in hindsight. But um, I
So
think
that's Halloween. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's the whole movie.
Out of 5, how many knives would you give Halloween?
Five, man.
5 knives. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, same as that. Yeah, yeah.
five
Yeah.
five nights
No, no,
at
it is.
Freddy's.
It is very much the no notes. You know.
I just think it's a stellar movie. And it's one of the best horror movies ever made, honestly.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why I always come back to it every Halloween because it's
Oh
so
yeah.
effective.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sticking with us and chilling with us for a bit. If you had a brew or something a bit stronger,
Or a beer.
yeah, yeah. Did you get yourself a beer?
What I do want to ask before we finish, if you were given the rights to this franchise, Josh, so what would you do with Halloween?
I'd do. Uh, I'd throw it in a pond and, and leave it there. No, I think I've mentioned a few ideas just in passing to you. But I'd love to do a series of like, you know, maybe like I don't want Michael to be the main focus of the show. I'd like to get you know, a perspective from other characters, like original characters. Either it's in the asylum during the years that he's growing up,
Hmm.
or we literally make a sequel where it's literally the manhunt for Michael after the night he disappears in the original movie.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Because
I like that. Yeah.
we get a taste for it in Halloween Kills, and that's the best bit of the movie, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of Michael just wants to go home. Don't do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just make it an all-out like you know. We don't focus on Loomis and Laurie. Their story's done for now. Obviously, Loomis will be in the background for a lot of it
They
because
have
he's
they have exhausted every avenue with them characters.
yeah,
Leave them alone. Let them
yeah.
rest.
You could have like a
Yeah.
little cameo or something
Mm.
like that for Loomis, but do what they did in Kills. He's just there. It's like okay, we got him. Um, but
I like that idea of doing like Michael's time at the asylum. And that's cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's really interesting.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
cast someone like a young Loomis to see like the
Yeah,
sessions that he was going through.
that was the idea you mentioned. Yeah, like a Luminous series. I was like, oh, Josh, you need to write this. Please, let's write
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
I mean they touch
yeah.
on it in the Rob Zombie movie, but it's just not. It's not engrossing at all.
I think we talked about like yeah, like maybe like Loomis had a wife. Maybe he's like divorced. The
Yeah,
obsession
it
with
gets
Michael
fixated on this.
has just ruined everything for him. This
Yeah,
yeah, because like a Gotham kind of series. You know, like yeah, how the madness started. You know, like
yeah,
who is this guy? You know, so um,
yeah. Like, yeah, I definitely love like a Loomis character
yeah,
exploration, similar to the Penguin. If we're on Gotham, um, where we just get an overview of like person he is, and it's an interesting parallel to Michael. It is sort of like a Batman and Joker situation, but it makes you think like similar to Batman. How how does his mind work?
yeah,
How much does his mind
yeah,
deteriorate
yeah.
over time? Just trying to
I think
understand this kid.
you can frame Michael as just a presence again as well. You know, like young Michael. You can like see him kind of in the distance, but
Yeah,
you never see his face and stuff like that. And that'd be like,
yeah,
you know, just like know he's there. Or like you can just have a yeah, a shot where just like Loomis is talking to someone, but you know Michael's there, but you don't actually see him or something. You know.
yeah. He's got other patients,
Yeah,
but maybe
yeah,
like the obsession with Michael and the
yeah.
fact that he's not responding to anything that he's doing, and you just something snaps for Loomis at that point. He's like, okay,
We need to direct it, Josh, or we need to sell it to Universal.
we'll pitch it to somebody, and hopefully they pick it up. Well, something I'd do something along those lines, where it's either like a Loomis
Hmm.
series or we do, you know, essentially like a Halloween 2 remake, where
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
a manhunt for
More
Michael.
what happened, yeah,
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 I really like the subplot of those police guys just trying to like assess the situation and stuff like that.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
get more of a feel of the town
yeah.
and the fact that this innocent town has
Mm-hmm.
once again been haunted by this ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'd just love to see that. But
So, I think, yeah, me and Josh have taken up enough of your time, folks. We just want to thank you all so much. You've no idea how much it means to us that like anyone who's like come to listen today. Thank you so much. As you know, from the start of the podcast, it's been a long time coming for me and Josh to get
yeah,
it off the ground, to even start it like this. We're both first time doing this. Hopefully, it has legs.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
somewhere, you know. So
If you have constructive criticism,
Please let us know in the
Please let
comments.
us know. We're happy
And
to adjust.
if you have any ideas of where you would like to see the franchise being taken, we'd love to hear your ideas as well. So pop them below in the comments.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Both the Halloween franchise and our franchise. um, but yeah, what's next? I mean, we talked about it briefly, but we could do the thing. You know, it's very snowy up there in.
I believe the thing's on the cover. Yeah, it has to be
Yeah,
next. Yeah, yeah.
or
We've teased it too much on this.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or Krampus or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
Something snowy or Christmassy.
yeah. No, we'll do 6 horror episodes. So yeah, I think I'll pick another two, and then you pick a couple more. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Who knows? It might become like the holiday podcast, where it's like,
yeah, yeah.
we'll talk about Independence Day next year. Um, but no, we'll
Cool.
see. We'll see.
Give us Loomis one more time to round us up, Josh. How would he sign off this podcast?
This podcast has gone on long enough. It needs to die. It needs to die.
I shot it 6 times. It's still being recorded.
We shot this 6 times. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be on the lookout for the next one. We look forward to seeing you there.
I'll see you next time, Josh.
It's all right.